The invitation that sounded like hope. I didn't know the invitation was not really an invitation. Not at first. When my daughter-in-law called me and said, "You should come to the baby shower," my heart almost broke open from happiness. Because for months, maybe longer than months, I had been standing on the outside of my son's new life, trying to smile like it didn't hurt. I kept telling myself, he's married now. He has his own home now. He has to put his wife first now. And all of that was true. A man should love his wife. A man should protect his home. A man should grow up and build his own family. I had raised Marcus to be that kind of man. But there is a quiet kind of pain no one really talks about. The pain of watching your child build a new life. And wondering if there is still a chair for you at the table. Not the biggest chair. Not the first chair. Just a chair. A place. A little room. A sign that says, "You still belong here." That was all I wanted. So when Vanessa called me that Tuesday evening and said, "We're having the baby shower next Saturday. You should come," I closed my eyes for a second and thanked God silently. I remember exactly where I was standing. In my kitchen, near the sink. The window was open a little because I had burned toast earlier, and the house still smelled faintly smoky. I had been washing a coffee mug. The phone rang, and when I saw her name, my hand froze. Vanessa didn't call me often. She texted sometimes. Short messages. Polite messages. Thanks. Okay. Marcus said Sunday won't work. Nothing rude. But nothing warm either. So seeing her name on my screen made my chest tighten. I answered quickly, maybe too quickly. "Hello?" "Hi, Lily." Her voice was calm. Smooth. Always smooth. "Hi, Vanessa. How are you feeling?" "I'm okay. Tired." I remember that kind of tired. She gave a small laugh. Not a full laugh. More like a breath. Then she said, "We're having the baby shower next Saturday. At my aunt's house." I waited. My heart started beating faster. She continued, "You should come." For a moment, I didn't trust my own ears. I said, "You want me there?" There was a pause. Small. Very small. But I heard it. When you have been lonely long enough, you learn to hear pauses. You hear what people don't say. You hear the little space before they answer. Then Vanessa said, "Of course, Lily. Your family." Family. That word sat in my chest like warm light. I smiled. "Yes," I said softly. "Yes, I'll come." "Good. It starts at 2. I'll be there." "Okay. See you then." The call ended. But I kept holding the phone to my ear. I stood there like someone had just handed me something fragile. Then I sat down at the kitchen table. My mug was still in the sink. Water still running. I didn't even notice until it started splashing too hard. I got up, turned it off, and laughed at myself. Then I cried. Not because I was sad. Because I was relieved. Because I thought maybe I had been wrong about everything. Maybe Vanessa was just private. Maybe I had been too sensitive. Maybe the distance I felt was not rejection. Maybe she had needed time. Maybe now, with the baby coming, she was finally opening the door. I wanted to believe that so badly. I wanted to believe it like a thirsty woman wants water. Because I was tired of pretending it didn't hurt. Marcus was my only child. I had him when I was young enough to be scared and old enough to know I had to become stronger than I felt. His father left when Marcus was still little. I don't like talking too much about that part. Not because I am ashamed. But because some chapters of life are heavy, and you don't always want to keep carrying them into every room. I raised Marcus mostly by myself. I worked. I cooked. I prayed. I cried quietly when he was asleep. I stretched money so thin I don't know how it didn't tear. But I never let Marcus feel poor in love. He had clean clothes, hot meals, books, birthday cakes, a mother in the front row at school programs, a mother who clapped too loud, a mother who stayed up when he was sick and checked his forehead every 10 minutes. He was a sweet boy. Gentle. Thoughtful. A little too gentle sometimes. Even as a child, Marcus hated conflict. If two kids argued at school, he would try to make both of them feel better. If I looked sad, he would bring me a glass of water or sit beside me quietly. He was the kind of boy who noticed. And I loved that about him. But I also worried. Because a gentle heart can be beautiful. But if it never learns courage, it can become a place where everyone else leaves their pain. When Marcus grew up, our relationship stayed close. He called me almost every day. Sometimes for no reason at all. Mom, what are you doing? Cooking. What are you cooking? Food. What kind of food? The kind you'll show up to eat without warning. He would laugh. And sometimes he did show up. He would come through the front door with that same boyish smile, even when he was a grown man. He would sit at my kitchen table and eat like he hadn't seen food in 3 days. I used to tell him, Marcus, do they not feed you at work? He'd say, not like you do. That made me happy. Maybe too happy. I know people might say I held on too tightly. Maybe sometimes I did. But it wasn't because I wanted to keep him from life. It was because for so many years, he and I had been a little team. A small family. A quiet home. We survived together. And when you survive with someone, even your child, the bond becomes deep. When he met Vanessa, I tried to make room. I truly did. The first time he brought her to dinner, I spent the whole day cooking. Chicken. Greens. Rice. Sweet potatoes. Cornbread. Peach cobbler. Too much food for 3 people, but my nerves had taken over. Marcus walked in with her and laughed. Mom, it's just dinner. I wiped my hands on a towel and said, it is not just dinner when I am meeting the woman you love. Vanessa smiled. She was beautiful. There was no denying that. Dark hair styled perfectly. Makeup soft but flawless. A cream blouse and fitted pants. Gold bracelet. She looked like the kind of woman who made lists, followed them, and never left the house without checking the mirror twice. I admired that. I have always admired women who carry themselves well. She greeted me politely. Nice to finally meet you, Lily. Nice to meet you too, sweetheart. I hugged her. Her body stiffened for just 1 second. Then she hugged me back. That was the first small thing. I noticed it. Then told myself not to. At dinner, she was pleasant. She thanked me for the food. Said the cornbread was good. Asked what I did for work before I retired. She did nothing wrong. Nothing you could point to and say, see? That was rude. But there were little things. When Marcus told an old story about burning pancakes when he was 12, Vanessa smiled but changed the subject. When I mentioned how he used to hum while doing homework, she touched his arm and asked him about a work project. When Marcus reached for a second piece of cornbread, she said softly, are you sure? You said you were trying to eat lighter. He put it back. I watched that. Again, nothing terrible. A wife caring about her husband's health is not wrong. But something about the way Marcus obeyed so quickly made me feel uneasy. After they left that night, I cleaned the kitchen slowly. I told myself, she's new. She's nervous. You are reading too much into things. And maybe I was. I wanted to like her. Not just tolerate her. Like her. Love her, even. Because she loved my son. And anyone who loves your child becomes important to you, whether you are ready or not. Their relationship moved quickly. Within a year, they were engaged. Marcus came over to tell me in person. He looked nervous, like a boy bringing home a report card. I hugged him before he even finished saying it. Mom, I asked Vanessa to marry me and she. I wrapped my arms around him. My baby. He laughed. Mom, let me finish. She said yes. Yes. Then I heard enough. I was happy. I was. But happiness can have a shadow. That night, after he left, I sat in my living room and looked at old photos. Marcus at 5. Marcus at 12. Marcus in his graduation gown. Marcus holding a birthday cake he had made me, leaning too far to one side. I smiled. Then cried. Because mothers know the day is coming. The day your child belongs more to their own life than to yours. That is right. That is healthy. But it still hurts. The wedding was beautiful. Vanessa looked like a picture in a magazine. Marcus cried when she walked down the aisle. I cried watching him cry. At the reception, he danced with me. He held my hand and whispered. Don't cry, Mom. I said. I am allowed to cry. I raised you. He laughed. Across the room, Vanessa watched us. She smiled. But again, that smile didn't reach her eyes. I remember that clearly. I remember because later I would think about that look many times. Not because she hated me. I don't think she did. But because maybe, even then, she saw me as someone standing too close to something she wanted to call hers. After the wedding, things changed slowly. That is how distance often works. Not like a door slamming. More like furniture being moved 1 inch at a time. You don't notice until one day the room feels unfamiliar. Marcus stopped calling every day. Then he called once or twice a week. Then sometimes only when driving home. Then sometimes not at all unless I called first. Sunday dinners changed. At first, he said, Mom, we'll come next week. Then. Vanessa already made plans. Then. We're trying to have quiet weekends. Then. We'll let you know. We'll let you know. That became a wall. A polite wall. A married wall. A wall I was not supposed to question. I tried not to. I sent messages instead of calling. I invited them without pressure. I told myself they were busy. They were building their home. Young couples need space. All true. But truth does not always stop pain. Holidays became difficult too. Thanksgiving at Vanessa's mother's house. Christmas morning at their apartment. Christmas evening with friends. My birthday became a quick lunch 2 days later. Marcus still hugged me. Still said he loved me. But he was careful. Always careful. As if every moment with me had to be measured so it didn't upset someone else. One day, I asked him if he and Vanessa wanted to come for dinner. He said, "Let me check with Vanessa." I said lightly, "Do you have to check with her to eat chicken?" He went quiet. I wished I could pull the joke back. Then he said, "Mom, don't do that." I felt ashamed immediately. "I'm sorry." "No, I don't want things to be weird." Things. Another wall. I didn't ask what things. Because I was afraid he would answer. Then Vanessa got pregnant. Marcus called me himself. That mattered. I was folding towels when the phone rang. "Mom." His voice trembled. I dropped the towel. "What happened?" "Nothing bad." "Marcus, don't start a call like that." He laughed, but he sounded emotional. I'm going to be a father. I sat down on the edge of the bed. For a moment, I couldn't speak. My baby was having a baby. Life felt like it had folded in on itself. "Oh, Marcus," I whispered. He cried. I cried. We both sat there on the phone, saying almost nothing. Then he said, "I wanted you to know first." "Well, after Vanessa's mom. She was there when the test." He stopped. I smiled sadly. "It's all right, baby." "No, I mean. It's all right." I meant it. Mostly. I sent Vanessa a message that day. "Congratulations, sweetheart. I'm so happy for you and Marcus. I'm praying for a peaceful pregnancy and a healthy baby. If you need anything at all, I'm here." She replied hours later. "Thanks, Lily." That was all. "Thanks, Lily." I stared at it for longer than I should have. Then placed the phone down. I told myself not to expect too much. Pregnancy is a tender time. Women can feel tired, scared, private. I didn't want to become one of those mothers-in-law who pushes herself into every appointment and decision. So I stayed back. I waited for invitations. They did not come. I found out the nursery colors from a social media post. Blue and cream. I found out the baby was a boy when Vanessa posted a photo of a cake with blue filling. The caption said, "Our sweet boy." I looked at the picture and cried. Then I liked it. I didn't comment right away because I didn't want to seem too eager. Then I hated myself for thinking that way. Why should a grandmother be afraid to write congratulations? Still, I waited 10 minutes. Then wrote, "God bless him. So happy for you both." Vanessa liked the comment. Marcus called later and said, "Mom, did you see?" "Yes, baby. A boy." "I know. I can't believe it." I smiled. "I can." He laughed. "I'm scared." "You should be." "Mom." "What?" "Children are terrifying." He laughed harder. For a few minutes, it felt like old times. Then I heard Vanessa in the background. His voice changed. "I'll call you later, okay?" "Okay." He didn't call later. I tried not to care. But I did. When the baby shower invitation came, it felt like an answer to a prayer. Finally, a door. A real one. I spent the week preparing. I went to 3 stores. Not because I needed to. Because choosing gifts gave me something to do with all my hope. I bought a soft blue blanket. A little outfit with tiny clouds. A silver frame for the baby's first photo. And a small stuffed elephant that played a lullaby when you pulled the string. When I heard the tune, I froze in the store aisle. It sounded almost like the song I used to hum to Marcus when he was a baby. Not exactly. But close enough. I held it against my chest for a moment. A young woman walked past and smiled. "First grandbaby?" I nodded. "Yes. That's special." "It is," I whispered. At home, I wrapped everything carefully. Blue tissue paper. White ribbon. A gift bag with tiny stars. Then I wrote the card. "To my first grandbaby. You are already loved more than you know. May your life be gentle, safe, and full of joy. Love, Grandma Lily." I stared at those words. Grandma Lily. I smiled. It felt like trying on a new coat. Soft. Strange. Beautiful. The night before the shower, Marcus called. "Mom, you still coming tomorrow?" "Of course." "Okay." Something in his voice made me stop. "Why?" "No reason." "Marcus." He sighed. "I just want tomorrow to go smoothly." "Smoothly?" "Yeah. Vanessa is tired. Her mom has been doing a lot. You know how these things are. I sat down. No, baby. I don't know what you mean. He went quiet. I just don't want any problems. Problems. The word landed hard. Do you think I'm going to cause problems? No, Mom. That's not what I said. But is that what you mean? No. Please don't take everything personally tomorrow. I looked at the gift bag on the table. The little card inside it. Grandma Lily. I said slowly. Is there something I need to know? No. Too fast. Marcus. Mom, please. Just come and enjoy the shower. After we hung up, I sat in the dark kitchen for a while. My hope had not disappeared. But now something else sat beside it. A warning. I didn't sleep well. The next morning, I dressed carefully. Deep teal dress. Gold earrings. Simple necklace. A little makeup. I wanted to look elegant, but not like I was trying too hard. I stood in the mirror and said, "Go with peace." Then I picked up the gift and left. Vanessa's aunt lived in a large house with tall windows and perfect bushes. Blue and white balloons were tied near the porch. A sign by the door said, "Welcome, baby boy." For a second, I smiled. Then I whispered, "Lord, let this be a good day." I knocked. A woman I didn't know opened the door. She looked me up and down. "Hi." "Hello. I'm Lily. Marcus's mother." Her eyes changed slightly. "Oh. Right. Come in." Marcus's mother. Not the baby's grandmother. Not Vanessa's mother-in-law. Marcus's mother. I stepped inside anyway. The house was full of women. Laughter. Perfume. Baby decorations. A long table covered in gifts. Some big. Some expensive. Mine looked small beside them. I told myself. Love is not measured by box size. Marcus saw me from across the room. His face softened with relief. "Mom." He came over and hugged me. A real hug. For 1 second, I felt safe. Then he pulled back and looked into my face like he was checking for something. "You okay?" "I just got here," I said, trying to smile. He laughed, but not fully. Vanessa sat in the center of the room in a pale blue dress, one hand resting on her belly. She looked beautiful. Her mother, Denise, stood near her like a guard. Perfect hair. Pearls. Sharp eyes. A woman who looked like she could correct the weather. Marcus led me over. "Look who's here." Vanessa smiled. Pretty. Polite. "Lily. You made it. I wouldn't miss it." I handed her the gift bag. "This is for the baby." "Thank you." She placed it with the others. A friend beside her asked, "Who is this?" Vanessa said, "This is Marcus's mom." Again. Marcus's mom. The words were not wrong. But they felt incomplete. I smiled anyway. The shower began. Games. Advice cards. Photos. Little sandwiches. Punch in glass bowls. Women laughing too loudly. Women laughing too loudly. Denise moving around the room making sure everything stayed perfect. I tried to join in. I wrote advice on a card. Protect your peace. Listen to each other. Let the baby grow up surrounded by love. Then at the bottom, I wrote, Grandma Lily. When I placed it in the basket, one of Vanessa's friends glanced at it. Her eyes paused on the words. Grandma Lily. Then she looked at Vanessa. They shared a tiny smile. Not warm. Not kind. Tiny. Sharp. I felt it. But I ignored it. Later, I needed the bathroom. A woman pointed down the hall. Second door on the left. I walked away from the noise, grateful for a moment to breathe. The hallway was quieter. Dimmer. I passed one door that was half open. Inside, I heard voices. I didn't mean to stop. I truly didn't. But then I heard a woman laugh and say, "I still can't believe you invited her." My body went still. Vanessa's voice answered. "Well, I had to. If I didn't invite her, Marcus would feel guilty." My hand tightened around my purse. Another woman said, "So you really don't want her here?" Vanessa laughed. Small. Light. Cruel because it was so light. "No. But it's better this way. Let her see where she stands." I felt the wall beside me with my hand. The room tilted. Another voice asked, "What do you mean?" And Vanessa said, "She needs to understand this is my family now. There are some sentences that don't shout. They don't need to. They walk quietly into your heart and break things." I stood there in that hallway, unable to move. The music from the living room floated behind me. Women laughing. A baby shower game starting. Someone saying, "Where's the ribbon?" And there I was, holding myself up with one hand on the wall. I finally understood. The invitation had not been a door. It had been a mirror. She wanted me to see myself standing outside. She wanted me to understand that the baby, the home, the future, all of it belonged to her now. And I was allowed to come only so I could know I was no longer inside. I walked into the bathroom and locked the door. Then I gripped the sink. My face in the mirror looked calm. Too calm. Only my eyes knew. I whispered, "Do not cry here." But tears came anyway. I wiped them fast. I would not give them my broken face. I would not walk out and make a scene. Because I knew how families worked. If I confronted her in front of everyone, would be the dramatic one. If I left, I would be the sensitive one. If I cried, would be the emotional one. Somehow, the person who reacts to disrespect often gets blamed more than the person who caused it. So I stood there until I could breathe. Then I looked into the mirror and said quietly, "You are still his mother. You are still this baby's grandmother. No woman in that room gets to erase what God already made true." I fixed my face, unlocked the door, and walked back into the party. But the woman who returned was not the same woman who had arrived. When I walked back into the living room, everything looked exactly the same. That was the strange part. Nothing had shifted for them. The balloons were still bright. The women were still laughing. The cake was still perfect. Vanessa was still sitting in her chair, one hand on her belly, smiling like she had not just sliced something open inside me. But for me, the room was different now. Every smile had a shadow. Every polite sentence sounded rehearsed. Every laugh felt like it might be about me. I stood near the doorway for a moment, trying to gather myself. Marcus saw me. He came over quickly. "Mom." I looked at him. "Are you okay?" That question nearly broke me. Because he asked like he already knew the answer. I said, "I'm fine." He looked at my eyes. "No, you're not." I almost told him right there. But a woman clapped her hands and said, "Gift time." Everyone moved toward Vanessa. The moment disappeared. Or maybe I let it disappear because I wasn't ready yet. I sat in a chair near the back. Marcus sat not far from me. Vanessa opened gift after gift. Everyone clapped. Tiny clothes. Blankets. A fancy baby monitor. A stroller so expensive I almost laughed. Denise stood nearby writing names down. From Aunt Carol. From Monique. From the church ladies. Then Vanessa reached for my gift bag. Oh, she said. This is from Lily. Lily. Not Grandma Lily. Just Lily. She pulled out the blanket first. That's nice. Then the outfit. Cute. Then the silver frame. Thank you. Then the stuffed elephant. Marcus leaned forward. That plays music? I nodded. Pull the string. Vanessa pulled it. The soft lullaby filled the room. For one moment, Marcus's face changed. He looked younger. Like memory had touched him. Mom, he said quietly. You used to hum something like that. I know. His eyes filled. And for one beautiful second, the gift became what I had hoped it would be. A bridge. A little piece of love from the past into the future. Then Vanessa placed the elephant back in the bag and said, That's sweet. She moved to the next gift. Just like that. The bridge disappeared under tissue paper. I sat there smiling with my hands folded in my lap. Inside, I felt foolish. Foolish for choosing the elephant. Foolish for writing Grandma Lily. Foolish for thinking a baby shower could fix what silence had built. After gifts, people took photos. Vanessa with her friends. Vanessa with her mother. Vanessa with her aunt. Vanessa holding tiny shoes near her belly. Everyone laughed. Then someone said, Let's get the grandmothers. Denise stepped forward immediately. I stayed seated. Not because I didn't want to be in the picture. Because no one looked at me. No one called my name. No one said, Lily, come. And in that second, Vanessa's hallway words rang again. Let her see where she stands. I saw. I saw very clearly. Then Marcus stood. Wait. The room quieted a little. He looked at me. Mom, come on. Vanessa's smile tightened. Denise glanced at him. But Marcus held his hand out. Come here, Mom. My heart ached. I stood. My legs felt weak. I walked to the front and stood on the other side of Vanessa. Denise on her left. Me on her right. The baby between us, still hidden inside her. The photographer said, Smile. So I did. We all did. That picture probably looked lovely. A mother-to-be and two grandmothers. But a photo can lie without meaning to. It can show people standing close while their hearts are far apart. It can show a woman included in the frame while she feels excluded from the family. After the photo, Marcus leaned toward me and whispered, I'm glad you're here. I looked at him. Are you? His face changed. What do you mean? I didn't answer. Not there. But he knew something was wrong. I saw it. A little later, I stepped outside to the patio. I needed air. The backyard was quiet, shaded by tall trees. I stood near the railing and took deep breaths. I thought about leaving. Just quietly leaving. No scene. No explanation. But then I thought of Marcus. Of the baby. Of the gift bag sitting there with the elephant inside. So I stayed. The patio door opened behind me. Marcus stepped out. He closed the door carefully. Mom. I didn't turn. What happened? I laughed softly, without humor. What happened? He came beside me. Please talk to me. I turned then. Do you want me here, Marcus? His eyes widened. Of course I do. Then why does it feel like I was invited here to be taught a lesson? His face froze. What? I heard her. He swallowed. What did you hear? I watched him carefully. Because part of me already knew. I heard Vanessa say she had to invite me because you would feel guilty if she didn't. His eyes dropped. That hurt worse than shock would have. I continued. I heard her say it was better this way. Let me see where I stand. He rubbed his forehead. And then, I said, my voice shaking. I heard your wife say I need to understand this is her family now. Marcus closed his eyes. Just for a second. But long enough. I stepped back. You knew. No, Mom. I didn't know she said that. But you knew something. He looked toward the house. I knew she was nervous. Nervous? She's pregnant. She's tired. Her mom has been putting pressure on everything. Vanessa feels like everyone has expectations. I stared at him. Marcus, fear does not give someone the right to humiliate your mother. I know. Do you? He looked at me. His eyes were wet. I didn't want this to happen. But you felt it coming. He didn't answer. That was answer enough. I turned away. For a moment, I could not speak. Then I said. I came here with love. I brought gifts for your son. I wrote Grandma Lily on that card with my whole heart. And your wife invited me so I could feel small. His voice broke. Mom. No, I said quietly. Listen. He stopped. I am not asking you to choose me over your wife. I would never ask that. But love for your wife cannot mean silence when your mother is being disrespected. He looked down. I continued. I don't need to be first. I don't need to be in every decision. I don't need to decorate the nursery or choose the name or hold the baby before anyone else. I know my place is different now. I swallowed hard. But different should not mean unwanted. Marcus wiped his face. I don't want you to feel unwanted. But you have allowed me to feel it. The words landed hard. I hated saying them. But they were true. He looked like I had struck him. Maybe truth sometimes feels like that when it has been avoided too long. I don't know how to handle this, he whispered. I softened slightly. Because he was still my son. And he was hurting too. You start by telling the truth. To yourself first. Before he could answer, the patio door opened. Vanessa stepped out. Her smile disappeared when she saw us. Everything okay? I turned to her. No. She blinked. Marcus said quietly. Vanessa. But I raised my hands slightly. Not to silence him harshly. Just enough to say I would speak for myself. I heard what you said. Vanessa's face changed. What are you talking about? In the room down the hallway. Her mouth tightened. I don't know what you think you heard. I heard you say you had to invite me because Marcus would feel guilty. I heard you say I needed to see where I stand. And I heard you say this is your family now. For a moment, she said nothing. Then she folded her arms. That was a private conversation. Yes, I said. About me. You were listening at doors? There it was. The turn. The blame reaching for me. I was walking to the bathroom. You were speaking loudly enough for me to hear my place being discussed. Her face flushed. I am pregnant, Lily. I'm tired. I don't need this stress at my baby shower. I am not stressed just because I exist. Her eyes flashed. I never said you were. You said enough. She turned to Marcus. Are you seriously going to let her talk to me like this? Marcus looked between us. I saw the old fear rise in him. The fear of disappointing his wife. The fear of hurting his mother. The fear of tension. Then he took a breath. She's not wrong. Vanessa stared at him. What? Some of what you said wasn't okay. Her face changed like he had betrayed her. This is my baby shower. And she's my mother. The words were quiet. But clear. I looked at him. My heart tightened. Marcus continued. Vanessa, my mother should not have been made to feel like she had to earn a place in our family. Vanessa's eyes filled. I just want boundaries. I said. Boundaries are not humiliation. She looked at me. I held her gaze. I respect that you are this baby's mother. I respect your home. I respect your marriage. But respect does not require me to become invisible. The patio went still. Inside, people were laughing. Someone called. Vanessa? Cake time. Denise opened the patio door. Her eyes moved from Vanessa's wet face to Marcus's tense one to me. What's going on? Vanessa wiped under her eye quickly. Nothing. We're coming. Denise looked at me. I looked back. She knew it was not nothing. Women like Denise always know when control has slipped in a room. But she said nothing. We went back inside. The cake was cut. People took more pictures. Vanessa smiled. I smiled. Marcus stood close to me. But the air between us had changed. Truth had entered. Quietly. Painfully. But it had entered. When the shower ended, I began gathering my purse. I was ready to leave. Marcus appeared beside me holding my gift bag. The elephant was still inside. Vanessa had not kept it with the other baby things. He looked down at it. I'm taking this home. I looked at him. For the baby? Yes. His voice was firm. It matters. I nodded. At the door, Vanessa stood with Denise. Her face was composed again, but her eyes were red. I said. Thank you for inviting me. The words were polite. But everyone who mattered knew they carried something heavier. Vanessa swallowed. Thank you for coming. Denise said nothing. Marcus walked me to my car. The evening air was cooler now. He opened my door for me like he used to when he was younger and trying to be a gentleman. I placed my purse on the passenger seat. Then turned to him. Marcus. Yes, Mom. I love you. I love your wife because you love her. I already love your son. But I will not keep calling my silence peace. His face crumpled. I know. I need you to understand something. He nodded. I don't need to be first. I know. But I need to know there is still room. His voice broke. There is. Then show me. He hugged me. Hard. Like a little boy. Like a grown man. Like someone finally realizing that avoiding pain does not protect anyone. I'm sorry, he whispered. I know. I drove home slowly. I did not turn on the radio. I needed quiet. When I got home, I placed my purse on the kitchen table and sat in the dark. Then I cried. Not little tears. Deep ones. The kind that come from a place you have been trying not to touch. I cried for the invitation I thought was hope. I cried for the hallway. I cried for the card that said Grandma Lily. I cried for my son, who had learned to be gentle but not brave enough soon enough. And I cried for Vanessa too. That surprised me. But I did. Because under her cruelty, I had heard fear. A woman does not say, "This is my family now." Unless somewhere inside, she believes love can be stolen. But understanding fear does not erase harm. So I let myself hurt. Then I washed my face. Made tea. And sat at the table until it went cold. That night, I made a decision. I would love them. But I would not beg. I would forgive. But I would not pretend. I would stay open to healing. But I would not disappear to make anyone comfortable. Because sometimes the most loving thing a mother can do is stop smiling through disrespect. The next morning, I woke up with swollen eyes. For a moment, before I fully opened them, I felt normal. Then the memory returned. Vanessa's voice. The hallway. Marcus looking down. This is my family now. I turned onto my side and stared at the wall. My phone sat on the nightstand. I wanted Marcus to call. I hated that I wanted it. But I did. I wanted him to say, "Mom, I talked to Vanessa. I understand. I should have protected you. You are not being dramatic." But the phone stayed quiet. So I got up. Made coffee. Cleaned a kitchen that was already clean. Folded towels that did not need folding. That is what women often do when their hearts are unsettled. We move things. We wipe counters. We organize drawers. We try to create order somewhere because inside, everything feels scattered. Around noon, I almost called him. Then I stopped. No. I had spoken enough. Now he had to decide what kind of son, husband, and father he wanted to become. That sounds strong now. But in the moment, it was hard. A mother's instinct is to reach. Even when hurt. Maybe especially when hurt. At 4 p.m, Marcus called. I looked at the phone for 3 rings before answering. Hello? Mom. His voice was low. Tired. Hi. How are you? The old me almost said. I'm fine. But that sentence had covered too much for too long. So I said. I'm hurt. He was quiet. Then. I know. I sat down. Do you? Yes. There was a pause. Vanessa and I talked last night. And? He sighed. She's upset. I closed my eyes. Of course she is. She feels like you embarrassed her. I opened my eyes. I did not embarrass her. Her own words embarrassed her. I told her that. That surprised me. You did? Yes. His voice was soft, but firmer than I expected. I told her what she said was wrong. Something in my chest loosened. Just a little. He continued. She admitted saying it. And why did she say it? She said she felt overwhelmed. She said she feels like everyone has an opinion about the baby before he's even born. Her mom, her friends, people online. I listened. She said she feels like she's losing control of her own home. I looked out the window. A child rode a bike down the sidewalk. Life outside looked so ordinary. I said. What does that have to do with me? Marcus was quiet. Then. She thought you would come in and take over. I laughed softly. Not because it was funny. Because it was painful. I barely get invited into the room, Marcus. How would I take over the house? I know. Does she? I think she's starting to. I rubbed my forehead. He said. She wants to talk to you. I didn't answer. Mom? When? Tomorrow, maybe. She said she'll text. I stood and walked to the sink. I watched the evening light on the counter. Part of me wanted to say no. Part of me wanted to protect myself from another polished conversation where I would be expected to forgive quickly so everyone could feel comfortable again. But another part of me knew healing could not happen if everyone stayed in separate corners. So I said. She can text. Marcus exhaled. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. I know. No. I need you to hear me. One conversation will not fix this. I know, Mom. Vanessa doesn't just owe me an apology. You and I need to talk too. He went quiet. Then said. I know. That mattered. The next evening, Vanessa texted. Hi Lily. I think we should talk. Would you be willing to meet? I stared at it. No heart. No warmth. But no blame either. I replied. Yes. Tomorrow at 11. Cafe on Green Street. A neutral place. Not her house. Not mine. No party. No family watching. Just two women and the truth. I arrived early. I wore a dark green dress and a cardigan. I wanted to look calm. Not weak. Not angry. Just calm. The cafe smelled like coffee and cinnamon. I ordered tea and sat by the window. My hands were steady, which surprised me. Maybe because I had already cried enough. Vanessa arrived 5 minutes late. She wore a simple black dress. Her hair pulled back. No jewelry except her wedding ring. Her face looked tired. Pregnancy had softened her. For the first time, she looked less polished. More human. She sat across from me. Hi. Hi. Silence. She looked down at her hands. Then said, I don't want this to become bigger than it has to be. That was not an apology. I felt my heart close slightly. I said, it became big when I heard you say I needed to understand where I stand. Her mouth tightened. I shouldn't have said it like that. I looked at her. Like that? She swallowed. I shouldn't have said it. I waited. She looked uncomfortable. Then, finally. I'm sorry. The words came out stiff. But they came. I nodded. Thank you for saying that. She seemed to expect more. Maybe. It's okay. Or. Let's forget it. I didn't say either. Because it wasn't okay. And I wasn't ready to forget. She took a breath. I felt cornered. I listened. She continued. When I married Marcus, I felt like I walked into a relationship that was already full. With me? Yes. Her honesty was quick. Painful. You and Marcus were close, she said. Very close. He talked about you all the time. Your food, your house, your traditions, how you raised him. I felt like I was being compared to someone I could never be. I had not expected that. I sat back. She looked at me with wet eyes. And then when I got pregnant, it got worse. I kept thinking, she'll know more than me. She raised Marcus. She'll know what to do with the baby. Marcus will listen to her. Everyone will look at me like I'm new and stupid. Did I ever make you feel stupid? She shook her head. No. Did I ever tell you how to decorate your nursery? No. Did I ever ask to be in the delivery room? No. Did I ever tell Marcus to put me above you? No. Then you were not protecting your family from me, I said gently. You were protecting yourself from a fear. Her tears fell. She wiped them quickly. My mother always warned me. About what? Mothers-in-law. Women who don't know when to step back. Women who think their sons still belong to them. I almost smiled. Denise. Of course. Vanessa continued. She told me I had to set the tone early. And the tone was to make me feel unwanted? Her face crumpled. No. I mean. I don't know. Maybe. That honesty hurt. But it also helped. Because for the first time, she stopped trying to make it sound better than it was. She said. I think I wanted control. I nodded. Yes. I thought if I controlled the room, I would feel safe. And did you? No. Her voice broke. I felt worse. The waitress passed by and asked if Vanessa wanted anything. She ordered water. Her hands shook slightly. When the waitress left, Vanessa looked at me and said, I was wrong. Those 3 words mattered more than the first apology. I was wrong. Not. I'm sorry you felt that way. Not. I said it badly. Not. You misunderstood. I was wrong. I took a slow breath. Yes, I said. You were. She accepted it. No defense. That was the first real sign of change. She said. I don't know how to fix it. You don't fix it in one conversation. I know. You start by being honest. She nodded. I can do that. Can you? She looked at me. I can try. I leaned forward slightly. I don't want fake invitations. I don't want to be included in a room but excluded in your heart. If you need space, say so. If you are afraid, say so. But do not use politeness to hide rejection. She cried quietly. I don't want to be that kind of woman. Then don't be. She looked surprised by the directness. But she didn't look offended. I continued. I am not trying to take your place. You are this baby's mother. No one can be that but you. Her face softened. But I am his grandmother. No one can be that but me either. She nodded slowly. I know. Do you? I'm trying to. I looked at her for a long moment. Then said. Love is not theft, Vanessa. She closed her eyes. That sentence seemed to hit something deep. My love for your baby does not take anything away from you. She whispered. I want to believe that. Then start practicing. How? By making room without acting like you're losing your home. She wiped her face. I can try. So can I. We sat there for over an hour. The conversation moved slowly. Sometimes awkwardly. Sometimes painfully. She admitted she had spoken about me with her friends before. Not always kindly. She admitted she felt jealous when Marcus softened around me. She admitted Denise had encouraged her to set firm boundaries before the baby came. I admitted I had been afraid of losing Marcus. I admitted sometimes I heard rejection even when no one said it. I admitted the distance had made me sensitive. Not wrong. But sensitive. That mattered too. Because truth is not just pointing at someone else. It is letting light touch your own hidden places. At the end, Vanessa placed one hand on her belly and said, I do want my son to know you. My throat tightened. Do you mean that? Yes. Then don't make him grow up feeling like love has sides. She nodded. I don't want that. Good. Outside the cafe, before we parted, she looked at me and said, Lily? Yes? I know I don't deserve your trust yet. I appreciated that. No, I said gently. You don't. Her eyes filled. But you can build it. She nodded. I will. When I got home, Marcus called. How did it go? I placed my purse down. Honestly. He was quiet. Is that good? It's a beginning. He exhaled. I'll take that. Marcus. Yes? You need to stop hiding behind everyone else's feelings. He didn't answer. I continued. You don't have to be harsh. But you do have to be clear. I know. Your son will learn from you. That got him. I heard his breath change. I don't want him to learn avoidance. Then don't teach it. He whispered. I'm trying. I know. Over the next few weeks, something shifted. Not dramatically. No big family announcement. No sudden closeness. But small things. Marcus called more. Vanessa sent a sonogram picture. A little black and white image of the baby's face. She wrote. Baby boy is doing well. I looked at it until my eyes blurred. Then replied. God bless him. I can't wait to meet him. A few minutes later, she wrote. Grandma Lily. Just 2 words. But they opened something in me. I cried at my kitchen table. Because sometimes healing begins quietly. A name. A message. A door not wide open yet. But no longer locked. Isaiah came 3 weeks early. It was raining that morning. Heavy rain. The kind that makes the whole sky look tired. I was making oatmeal when Marcus called. Mom. 1 word. But I knew. My spoon stopped moving. It's time. His voice shook. Her water broke. I closed my eyes. Oh Lord. Okay. Breathe, Marcus. I am breathing. You don't sound like it. He laughed nervously. We're going to the hospital. Drive carefully. I will. Does Vanessa need anything? She's scared. Then be calm for her. I'm scared too. I know. Be calm anyway. He breathed out. Okay. Call me when you know something. I will. He paused. Mom? Yes? Pray. I already am. After he hung up, I stood in the kitchen listening to rain hit the window. My grandson was coming. After all the tension. After the hallway. After the apology. After all the careful steps toward healing. This child was coming into the world whether we were ready or not. Babies don't wait for families to fix everything. They arrive. And everyone has to decide who they are going to become around them. I wanted to rush to the hospital. Every part of me did. But I didn't. That was Vanessa's birth. Her body. Her fear. Her room. I was learning that love sometimes waits at home. So I prayed. I cleaned. I checked my phone too often. Marcus texted updates. We're checked in. Baby is okay. She's in pain. She's asking if this is normal. I replied. Tell her she is doing beautifully. Breathe with her. Don't argue with nurses. Drink water. At 2:47 in the afternoon, he called. When I answered, he was crying. He's here. My hand went to my mouth. Oh, Marcus. He's here, Mom. Is Vanessa okay? Yes. She's okay. He's okay. Thank God. He's so small. I laughed through tears. Babies usually are. He has hair. Of course he does. His name is Isaiah. I closed my eyes. Isaiah. It sounded like a blessing. Strong, but gentle. Marcus said. Vanessa said you can come later. Just for a little while. I opened my eyes. She said that? Yes. I sat down slowly. Okay. I'll come. I dressed carefully. Soft lavender blouse. Comfortable shoes. I brought a small blue blanket I had kept at my house. Not the same one from the shower. A new one. Fresh. Folded gently. At the hospital, the air smelled like sanitizer and coffee. I checked in at the desk. The nurse smiled. Are you Grandma Lily? For a second, I couldn't speak. Grandma Lily. Not Marcus's mother. Not Lily. Grandma Lily. I nodded. Yes. That's me. She pointed me down the hall. Marcus met me outside the room. His eyes were red. His whole face had changed. He looked exhausted. Terrified. Happy. Like fatherhood had entered him all at once and he didn't know where to put it. He hugged me hard. Mom. I held him. You did good. I didn't do anything. You stayed. He laughed softly. That counts? That counts. Then he opened the door. The room was dim. Quiet. Vanessa lay in the bed, pale and tired, her hair pulled back messily. No perfect makeup. No polished expression. Just a woman who had crossed through pain and come back holding life. In her arms was Isaiah. Tiny. Wrapped in a hospital blanket. A little blue hat on his head. Everything inside me went still. Vanessa looked up. "Hi, Lily." "Hi, sweetheart." My voice came out soft. I walked closer slowly. Not rushing. Not assuming. I looked at the baby. "Oh," I whispered. "There are loves that arrive like thunder. And there are loves that arrive quietly, like a candle being lit." Isaiah was the quiet kind. One look at his face, and the room changed forever. Vanessa watched me. Then said, "Do you want to hold him?" My eyes filled. "Are you sure?" She nodded. "Yes." Marcus helped place Isaiah in my arms. He was so light. Warm. His little face turned toward my chest. I held him carefully and whispered, "Hello, baby. This is Grandma Lily." The words broke open inside me. Marcus wiped his eyes. Vanessa watched quietly. For a few minutes, no one spoke. Then Isaiah made a tiny sound. I laughed softly. "Oh, you have opinions already." Vanessa smiled. A tired, real smile. After a short while, I handed him back. Vanessa looked surprised. "You can hold him longer." "I will have time," I said gently. "Right now he needs his mama." Her eyes filled. That mattered. I saw it. Because one of her fears had been that I would take. So I gave back. Trust is often built in moments that look small to other people. I stayed only 30 minutes. I told Vanessa she did beautifully. I told Marcus to rest when he could. I kissed Isaiah's tiny forehead. Before I left, Vanessa said, "Lily?" I turned. She looked down at the baby, then back at me. I didn't handle things well before. The room went quiet. Marcus looked at her. She continued. "At the shower." "Before that too." I stepped closer. Her voice shook. "I was afraid. But I don't want to be that kind of mother. I don't want Isaiah growing up around women acting like love is a fight." My eyes filled. "Then we won't teach him that." She nodded. "I want you in his life." I placed one hand over my heart. "Thank you. I mean it. I believe you." And I did. Not completely. Not blindly. But enough. Enough to step forward. The first weeks after Isaiah came home were hard. People love to romanticize newborns. They talk about tiny fingers. Soft blankets. Sweet smells. And all of that is true. But newborn days are also crying, leaking, aching, confusion, and sleep so broken it feels like your mind is made of paper. Vanessa struggled. Not because she was weak. Because she was human. Marcus called me one morning sounding worried. "Mom, she hasn't slept much." "Is she eating?" "Barely." "Is the baby eating?" "Yes." "Good." "I don't know what to do." "Ask her what she needs." I did. She said she doesn't know. "Then start with water and food." He sighed. "Okay." "Marcus." "Yes?" "Don't ask like a visitor. Notice like a father." He went quiet. "I know. Do you?" "I'm learning." A few days later, Vanessa called me herself. That was new. Her voice sounded thin. "Lily?" "Yes, sweetheart." "I don't know what to do." "He won't settle." "Marcus is at work." "I haven't showered." "I'm so tired." "I'm coming." You don't have to. I know. I'm coming. When I arrived, the house looked like a newborn lived there. Blankets on chairs. Burp cloths everywhere. Bottles near the sink. A laundry basket full of tiny clothes. Vanessa opened the door in sweatpants and one of Marcus's old shirts. Her hair was messy. Her eyes were red. She looked embarrassed. I stepped inside and said, "You look like a new mother." She laughed and cried at the same time. "I feel like a terrible one." "No," I said. "You feel like a tired one." Isaiah was crying in the living room. I washed my hands. Then asked, "May I?" She nodded quickly. I picked him up. He was red-faced and furious. I held him against my chest and began to sway. Slow. Quiet. The rhythm came back. The old mother rhythm. The one I used with Marcus. The one I thought time had taken from me. But mothers don't forget everything. Some things sleep in the body until called. After a few minutes, Isaiah's cries softened. Then stopped. Vanessa stared at me like I had performed magic. "How did you do that?" "I had more sleep than you." She laughed weakly. Then covered her face. I said, "Go shower." "I can't leave him. He's in the living room with his grandmother, not in the street." She laughed again. Then went. When she came back, her hair was wet and her face looked calmer. Isaiah slept on my chest. Vanessa sat beside me. For a while, she didn't speak. Then she said, "My mother came yesterday." I looked at her. "She said I need to get things under control." "Ah. Denise." I took a breath. "How did that make you feel?" Vanessa's eyes filled. Like I was failing. A new mother does not need to be managed like a project. She stared at me. That is exactly what it felt like. I'm sure she meant well. She always means well. Yes. But meaning well does not always land gently. Vanessa leaned back. "I don't want to become like that." Then learn the difference between support and control. She looked at Isaiah. "I think I confused them." "At the shower?" She nodded. "I thought I was protecting my family." I waited. She whispered. "But I was controlling it." I didn't rush to comfort her. Truth sometimes needs air. She said, "I'm sorry." "I know." "No. I mean, I see it differently now. I thought if I kept you at a distance, I would feel secure. But I didn't. I felt more afraid." I nodded. Control often does that. She looked at me. "I don't want to fight you." "I don't want to fight you either. I still get scared." "I know. What if Marcus listens to you more?" "Then Marcus needs to learn how to honor his mother without making his wife feel small." She looked down. "And what do I need to learn?" "That my love for Isaiah does not take one drop of love away from you." Her face crumpled. She cried quietly. I held the baby and let her cry. That day changed something. Not because everything was fixed. Because she let me see her tired. And I did not use it against her. She let me help. And I did not take over. Fear expected harm. It received gentleness. That is how trust begins. Denise and I had our own slow road. She came over one afternoon while I was helping Vanessa fold baby clothes. Denise arrived with bags. Baby clothes. Lotions. A new bottle set. A parenting book. She placed everything on the table and began explaining each item. Vanessa's shoulders rose. I saw it. Old pattern. Mother speaks. Daughter tightens. Denise said, "You should use this soap instead." Vanessa nodded too quickly. And don't let him sleep too long in the afternoon. Vanessa said. Okay. And you need to start a proper routine. I looked at Vanessa. Her face was pale with exhaustion. Isaiah was fussing in his swing. Denise reached for him. Let me. Vanessa also reached. For a moment, both women froze. Then I said gently. Maybe let his mother try first. Denise looked at me. I raised 3 children. I know. Then I know what I'm doing. Yes, I said. And Vanessa is learning what she's doing. The room went quiet. Denise's eyes sharpened. She needs guidance. Guidance, I said. Not replacement. Vanessa looked at me, then at her mother. Her voice trembled. I'll take him, Mom. Denise hesitated. Then stepped back. Vanessa picked Isaiah up. He cried harder at first. Her face panicked. I said softly. Breathe. Lower your shoulders. Let him feel you calm. Vanessa did. Slowly. Isaiah settled. Not completely. But enough. Denise watched. Something shifted in her face. Not defeat. Maybe recognition. A little later, when I was leaving, Denise walked me to the door. For a moment, she said nothing. Then. You handled that well. I almost smiled. Thank you. I can be direct. Yes. She looked at me. You were supposed to say not too direct. I try not to lie in doorways. She stared at me. Then laughed once. Small. Surprised. Vanessa is my youngest, she said. I know. It is hard watching your child become a mother. Yes, I said. It is. She looked toward the living room. I may have said things about you before I understood. That was as close to an apology as Denise could manage at that time. I accepted it. We have all misunderstood something. She nodded. Vanessa needs support. Not pressure. Yes. From both of us. I looked at her. Yes. She looked away, uncomfortable with softness. Then said. Those muffins you brought were good. I smiled. I'll give you the recipe. I didn't ask. You were going to. She smiled reluctantly. Progress. Time moved. Isaiah grew. His cheeks filled out. His eyes became more alert. He smiled at the ceiling fan like it had told him a private joke. Marcus called me often now. Sometimes with questions. Mom, can babies be bored? Bored? He keeps staring at the wall like he expected more from life. I laughed until I had to sit down. Vanessa sent pictures. Isaiah sleeping. Isaiah making faces. Isaiah looking like Marcus. Then one day she sent a photo with no message. Just Isaiah wrapped in the blue blanket I had brought to the hospital. I stared at it. Then replied. He looks peaceful. She wrote back. He likes this blanket. I cried. Small things. Again and again. Healing was not one big event. It was small proof repeated. Christmas came. Marcus called to talk about plans. We want Christmas morning at home, he said. As you should. Lunch with Denise. That sounds nice. And dinner with you. My heart softened. I'd like that. He paused. Denise thinks it might be too much. I smiled. Does she? Yes. What does Vanessa think? She thinks we can do both if we keep it simple. And what do you think? He didn't hesitate. I think we should come to you for dinner. There it was. Clear. Not hidden. Not guilty. Just honest. Then that is what you should do, I said. he said softly. I told Denise that. I smiled. I'm proud of you. He was quiet. Then. That means a lot. Christmas dinner was simple. I hung Marcus's old stocking by the fireplace. The one I had kept for years. Then I hung a new one for Isaiah. Small. Red. His name stitched in white. When Marcus arrived and saw them, he stopped. Mom. I stood in the kitchen doorway. He touched his stocking. You kept this? Of course. Then he touched Isaiah's. You got him one. Yes. Vanessa stood beside him holding the baby. Her face softened. Then she reached into her bag and pulled out a small wrapped box. This is for you. Inside was an ornament. A silver frame with Isaiah's hospital photo. At the bottom, in small letters, it said, Grandma Lily. I stared at it until the room blurred. Vanessa looked nervous. I thought you could add it to your tree. I walked to her and hugged her. Fully. Not carefully. She froze for half a second. Then hugged me back. And cried. I whispered. Thank you. She whispered. Merry Christmas. That ornament was not just a gift. It was a place. A memory. A sign that said I was not outside anymore. Dinner was messy. Isaiah cried as soon as we sat down. Marcus tried to hold him and eat at the same time. Vanessa laughed at him. I took the baby so they could eat. He settled against me, staring at the tree lights. Marcus looked over and said, You're good at that. I had practice. I was easier, right? No. Vanessa burst out laughing. Marcus looked wounded. On Christmas? Truth is a gift, I said. We laughed. And I realized laughter had returned without fear. Later, Vanessa and I washed dishes together. She said quietly. I used to think if people loved Isaiah, it would make me less important. I looked at her. And now? She smiled toward the living room where Marcus was making the baby laugh. Now I think more love means he's safer. I nodded. There it is. She looked at me. I'm glad you're here tonight. I'm glad too. That night, after they left, I sat by the tree and looked at the ornament. Grandma Lily. I thought of the hallway. The hurt. The sentence that had broken me. This is my family now. And I realized healing had not erased that moment. But it had answered it. Every apology answered it. Every honest conversation answered it. Every time Marcus spoke clearly answered it. Every time Vanessa made room answered it. And every time I chose dignity instead of begging. I answered it too. By the time Isaiah was almost 1 year old, he knew me. Not just my face. Me. My voice. My perfume. The way I rocked him. The song I hummed when he was tired. He had become a round, bright-eyed little boy with strong opinions and no respect for clean shirts. He smiled when I walked into the room. He reached for my earrings. He drooled on my shoulder like it was his job. And one afternoon, he gave me a name. I was at Marcus and Vanessa's house while Vanessa worked from the kitchen table. Isaiah sat on the living room rug surrounded by blocks. I got down beside him, which at my age required prayer and planning. He handed me a block. Then another. Then another. Soon I had 5 blocks in my lap and no instructions. What are we building? I asked. He slapped 1 block. Bah. I see. I built a tower. He knocked it down. I said. Grandma worked hard on that. He looked at me. Very seriously. Then said. Gam. I froze. Vanessa's typing stopped. What did he say? Isaiah reached both arms toward me. Gam. My hand flew to my mouth. Oh, baby. Vanessa grabbed her phone. Say it again, Isaiah. He did. Gam. Not grandma. Not perfect. But mine. I picked him up and held him close, tears falling onto his hair. Vanessa recorded the moment, crying and laughing behind the phone. I looked at her, expecting maybe a shadow of jealousy. But there was none. Only joy. Real joy. For me. For him. For us. That told me everything. The first time Isaiah showed love for me in a clear way, Vanessa did not shrink. She did not stiffen. She celebrated it. Marcus came home later and watched the video 5 times. Denise asked Isaiah to say Nana. He blew a bubble. For a second, we all froze. Then Marcus laughed. Vanessa laughed. I tried not to. Failed. Even Denise laughed. That child is selective, she said. I said. He is wise. She pointed at me. Don't get comfortable, Gam. We laughed again. And what could have become competition became family. That was healing too. Not making every tender moment into a contest. Not shrinking joy so someone else won't feel a sting. Letting love be love. Isaiah's first birthday came faster than any of us were ready for. Vanessa called me one Sunday after church. Lily, we're planning his party. One already, I whispered. I know. I could hear emotion in her voice. Then she paused. Would you be willing to have it at your house? I sat very still. My house? Yes. If you're comfortable. Why? She took a breath. Because last year, before he was born, I made you feel like you were outside my family. My throat tightened. She continued. This year, I want his birthday to be somewhere you don't have to wonder if you belong. I closed my eyes. There are sentences that walk into old wounds like medicine. That was one. I looked around my living room. The old couch. The photos. The table where I had cried after the baby shower. The same house that had held my loneliness. Now it was being chosen for my grandson's first birthday. I whispered. Yes. Vanessa cried softly. Thank you. But no balloon arch in my living room. She laughed through tears. What about a small one? Vanessa. Okay. No balloon arch. There was a small balloon centerpiece at the party anyway. I blamed Denise. She denied nothing. The week before the party, Vanessa came over to help me prepare. That alone showed how far we had come. She didn't come in and take over. She didn't inspect my house like a manager. She asked. What do you need me to do? The old me almost said. Nothing. That old habit. Need nothing. Be easy. Stay useful. But I stopped myself. You can help me clear those books from the side table. She smiled. Good. We moved books. Dusted shelves. Made space. Isaiah sat in his little seat watching us like a tiny supervisor. Every few minutes, he shouted. Gam. And I said. Yes, sir. Vanessa laughed. He thinks he's in charge. He might be right. She picked up the Christmas photo from my shelf. The one with all of us by the tree. She looked at it for a long time. I remember this night. So do I. I was nervous giving you that ornament. I was nervous receiving it. She looked at me. You were? Yes. Why? Because after you've been hurt, even kindness can feel risky. Her eyes softened. Because you wonder if it will last. Yes. She sat down slowly. I'm sorry I made you wonder that. I sat across from her. It didn't start only with you. She looked confused. I continued. You hurt me. That is true. But some of my fear was older than you. I had already been afraid of losing Marcus. You became the face of that fear. She listened. I didn't know. I didn't either. Not fully. That was another truth. Vanessa feared being replaced. I feared being erased. Denise feared becoming secondary. Marcus feared disappointing anyone. All those fears had been sitting in the same family, dressed up as boundaries, politeness, control, and silence. No wonder we had hurt each other. Fear does not stay hidden. It leaks into invitations. Into photos. Into holidays. Into who gets called family. Into who doesn't. Vanessa looked toward Isaiah. He didn't ask for any of that. No, I said. He didn't. She nodded. Then we better not hand it to him. That was the hope. That we would do enough work before he was old enough to inherit what we had not healed. The day of the party arrived bright and warm. I woke early. Too early. I made coffee. Baked cornbread because Marcus believed no family event was complete without it. Set out plates. Checked the cake. Straightened the banner that said, Happy first birthday Isaiah. 1. Such a small number. Such a big year. Denise arrived before everyone else with serving trays, folding tables, and enough opinions to fill another room. She stepped inside, looked around, and said, Not bad. I put a hand to my chest. High praise. Don't get used to it. She set down bags. Then looked at the banner. Her face softened. 1 already. I know. They grow too fast. Yes, I said. They do. For a moment, we were just 2 older women. Not competitors. Not cautious allies. Just 2 women who knew how quickly children become adults. Then Denise cleared her throat. Where do you want the drink station? And just like that, she returned to herself. Kitchen corner, I said. Good choice. Thank you. I would have suggested it. I know. Guests arrived around too. Family. A few close friends. Miss Caroline from church, who said she had heard so much about Isaiah that she considered herself emotionally invested. Then Marcus and Vanessa arrived. Marcus carried bags. Vanessa carried Isaiah. He wore a blue outfit with tiny suspenders. Suspenders. I almost cried at the door. Oh, look at you. Isaiah saw me and reached both arms out. Gam. The room smiled. I took him. Yes, baby. Gam is here. Vanessa watched us with a soft face. No fear. No stiffness. Just love. The party was simple. Mostly. There was food. Cake. Laughter. Children running through my house. 1 small balloon centerpiece that I pretended not to notice. Isaiah was passed from person to person, but Vanessa watched carefully. Not anxiously. Like a mother. Whenever he seemed overwhelmed, she took him back. No apologies. No explanations. I admired that. She had grown into motherhood beautifully. Not because she was perfect. Because she had stopped performing certainty. When it was time for cake, everyone gathered in the living room. Marcus lit the number 1 candle. Everyone sang. Isaiah stared at the cake like it had offended him. Then cried when everyone clapped. Vanessa picked him up, laughing softly. It's okay, baby. I watched her comfort him. Strong. Gentle. Sure enough. Then she looked at me. Can you cut the cake? I blinked. Me? She smiled. Yes. Please. It was not about cake. I understood that. It was about trust. About inviting me to serve in a way that honored me, not used me. I nodded. Of course. I cut cake. Denise passed plates. Marcus took pictures. Vanessa held Isaiah. For once, every woman had something to do. And nobody was trying to own the room. After cake, Vanessa tapped her glass. Can I say something? The room quieted. My heart skipped. I had not expected speeches. Vanessa stood near Marcus, holding Isaiah now. Her voice trembled. I just want to thank everyone for coming. This first year has been beautiful, but it has also been hard. People nodded. She took a breath. When I was pregnant, I thought being a good mother meant controlling everything. I thought I had to protect my place. But I heard people doing that. The room became very still. She looked at me. I especially want to thank Lily. My eyes filled immediately. For loving Isaiah. For loving Marcus. And for being patient with me while I learned that your love was never a threat to mine. I pressed a napkin to my mouth. Marcus put his hand on my shoulder. Vanessa continued. I made mistakes. Some of them were painful. But this family gave me room to learn better. She looked at Denise. My mom too. Denise looked down, emotional. Vanessa smiled through tears. And Marcus, who kept choosing honesty even when it was uncomfortable. Marcus wiped his eye. Then Vanessa looked at Isaiah. I want him to grow up surrounded by people who know how to love without competing. People who apologize. People who make room. Miss Caroline started clapping first. That woman never allowed emotional silence to last too long. Everyone joined. Vanessa came to me and hugged me. In front of everyone. A full hug. Not stiff. Not careful. Not ashamed. I whispered. I'm proud of you. She whispered back. I'm proud of us. And I understood. This had never been only her healing. It was ours. After the party, the house was a mess. Cake crumbs. Cups. Blue napkins. A tiny shoe under the chair. A messy house after a good gathering is one of life's quiet blessings. It means people came. People ate. People laughed. A child was loved. For years, my house had been clean because it was quiet. That day, the mess felt like music. After everyone left, I walked down my hallway. My own hallway. Soft light. Quiet floor. No hidden voices. No half-open door. No cruel words waiting. I placed my hand on the wall. The same way I had done in that other hallway 1 year earlier. But this time, I was not holding myself up because I felt weak. I was standing still because I felt grateful. I thought about the woman I had been at the baby shower. Holding a gift bag. Hoping to be welcomed. Hearing she had been invited to learn where she stood. I wished I could go back and hold her. I wished I could tell her. This will hurt, but it will not be the end of you. I wished I could tell her. One day, that same family will stand in your living room and call you Grandma Lily with love. But maybe she had to walk through that hallway to become me. Because I had changed too. I learned that peace is not pretending. Peace is truth with love. I learned that forgiveness does not mean forgetting your worth. I learned that boundaries can protect love when they are not used as weapons. I learned that a son can love his wife and still honor his mother. I learned that a wife can build her home without erasing the people who shaped her husband. I learned that grandmothers do not have to compete. And most of all, I learned that love is not smaller when shared. There was room. That became the lesson of our family. There was room for Vanessa to be Isaiah's mother. Room for me to be Grandma Lily. Room for Denise to be Nana. Room for Marcus to be husband, son, and father without hiding from any of it. Room for Isaiah to grow surrounded by love that did not pull him apart. That night, I sat at my kitchen table with one small slice of leftover cake. The house was quiet again. But not empty. The baby's laughter was still in the walls. The smell of food still hung in the air. I looked at the framed Christmas photo Vanessa had given me. Grandma Lily. Beside it was a new photo from the birthday. All of us together. Marcus holding Isaiah. Vanessa beside him. Denise on one side. Me on the other. No one outside the frame. I touched the edge of the photo and whispered. Thank you. Not just for the birthday. Not just for Isaiah. For the hard road that brought us there. Because sometimes families break in quiet ways. Through small exclusions. Through polite smiles. Through words said behind doors. Through sons who stay silent. Through women who let fear become control. But healing can happen quietly too. Through one honest conversation. One real apology. One son finally saying, Mom is family too. One daughter-in-law finally understanding. Your love does not threaten mine. One grandmother deciding. I will love them, but I will not disappear. And one baby. One sweet little boy. Growing up surrounded by people who chose to become better before he was old enough to understand why they needed to. That is the gift we gave Isaiah. Not a perfect family. A truthful one. A family that learned. A family that made room. And if you ask me now where I stand, I no longer need a hallway, a photo, or anyone's approval to tell me. I stand where love placed me. Not above anyone. Not before anyone. Not against anyone. But inside the family. Beside my son. Beside his wife. Beside Denise. Holding my grandson's hand. Standing in the same frame.